So yeah, so with tire fishing is you have an actual tire, you'll cut out like probably a good sized rectangle and then you'll like put it like back into like the bottom of the bank, and that's where catfish will come in and they'll lay in the tire. So then you pull it up and you'll have it's probably 80-pound catfish or something that's sitting in the bottom of this tire. We have a lot. Yeah.
Clink.
Hey, I didn't even hit the camera on that one. I just kind of hit.
Oh, I try not to, because otherwise the whole screen shakes, and then it's like I'm experiencing a mini earthquake, and I don't want the people that are watching this on YouTube to be concerned that I'm just casually sitting through an earthquake.
See, I want them to. I want them to. Wow, these guys are extreme. They'll even go through an earthquake to record the podcast. No, that's not us. We're out here. We're having a good time, enjoying nature, hoping that you're enjoying nature too. Whether that's checking out some cool videos here and there, or actually going to a lake and dipping your tootsies in. Whatever that may be. We're super excited that you're doing it in nature.
Have you ever experienced an earthquake?
The one time, I'm just going to just say you ruined it for me, even though you have no control, but was when we went to Glacier with Vince and Phil.
Yeah.
And Thea, and that was it, right? Well, at Sealy, there was an earthquake at Sealy, near Sealy when we were up there, so we didn't feel it.
Oh, so you have never experienced an earthquake?
No.
Okay. I was curious if you'd ever had. I've experienced like three really? That you can actually feel.
Really?
Yeah. Two of them were down, actually maybe four. I may have had three when I was living in Humboldt. But the biggest one I ever felt was when I was like in second grade. We were in the middle of like class, and just all of a sudden everything starts shaking. And first and only time I ever heard a second grade teacher cuss.
Oh, I think I've heard you say that before.
Yeah, and it's because she's just like, holy shit, everybody under the tables.
Cover.
Yeah, we had to go underneath the covers or the tables, and then once it stopped shaking, we did everything we ever done in those drills that we used to do. So
nice. Yeah, no, there's quite a bit near the Yellowstone and like Lincoln, Montana area. Lincoln gets a lot, and Lincoln's close to Sealy. It's an hour and a half from Sealy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's closer. I don't go that way down 200. Personal reasons. No, I'm just kidding. But like, yeah, I've never have. I think I want to, just to be like, yeah, no, like it's kind of sketch, or it's just crazy.
It's weird if you experience a really small one, because you'll feel everything shake, and then you start debating with everybody around you. You're like, was that an earthquake? Like, did we feel it, or did someone like slam the door really hard and the house kind of shook type deal? And then like someone will be very adamant that it was an earthquake, and they'll be the ones to look it up to tell you if it was actually an earthquake or not.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never, other than like, even like the tornado that Billings got in 2010, we were out fishing like 60 miles away.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful, bright, sunshiny day, and Billings got hail and a tornado that took the roof off the Metra, and like it was like a whole ordeal. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay that I never gotten to experience those type of situations. I've experienced some pretty intense blizzards.
Yeah.
For my like big nature stuff, just living in Montana, even snowmobiling, man. Like we did like I think I told that story here on the podcast where like we went in with my parents one time. We were little kids, and all the snowmobilers we saw were leaving the area, and we're the only car going into the area. And we rolled a snowmobile, did this, did that. Tyler was a baby crying, and this all the fun stuff that comes along with it. But I mean, we're all here today. We're living. I think too, that's also the Darwinism that comes in some of that, where like you do get a lot of people, you really do see the dumb people come out in those type of catastrophic events and how they act. And then you get the people that just dumb luck gets to them, because like, you were in that chamber. Like if you weren't in the chamber, you had been fine, but because you're in that closet at that time, that happened. But they're nuts. Like I'm glad I haven't got to experience them, but I also want to, and I would want to experience like a 9.0 earthquake.
Hey, I don't. You know, the big one is like one of my top 3 biggest fears. And that's because they've been driving it into us ever since I was like, you know, can walk. They're like, any day now. It could be today. So we were like going to school and they're like, today could be the day. And you're like, cool.
And I want to ask our listeners, based on this right here, I want to ask our listeners, I say, go ahead and shoot us a message or email or question or comment of some sort of like, hey, this is our big one. Because like for us, Yellowstone was that big one. Any day it'll explode and just kill us all. I mean, and it will, you know, but also any day a meteor is going to hit the earth. I'm just curious, what, like, if you're in Florida, you know, what's your like, oh, it's this hurricane that's going to come through and it's going to just flatten everything. Oh, you're in New York. You know, this is what it is. I want to know.
That's actually a really good question. I want to know too.
I know. And it's like we have guests on all the time and we got to ask them. That's got to be one of those questions.
We should. Speaking of guests, we've got an awesome one today. We have Cameron, who is a park ranger out at Lake Wateree, which is Wateree. Yeah, see, I knew I was going to make that mistake again. Lake Wateree. I've been saying it wrong. Go ahead and keep track as you listen how many times I say the wrong way. I'm sure it's a decent little amount.
What I like though, you're because I know you're thinking South Carolina state flag has a tree on it. The lake is water tree. Well, it should be. There's trees and there's water. It should be water tree. I get you.
Exactly.
It's Wateree. It's in South Carolina. It's a beautiful place.
It is. Yeah. It's a fantastic place. And we had the absolute pleasure to talk to Cameron, who is one of the park rangers at the park there. And she lets us know, because we're getting close to that Halloween time. It's spooky season right now, and we're almost to the apex of spooky. And she lets us know in this interview we do about some cool things that their park does. And it sounds like Lake Wateree is the place to be if you're in South Carolina around Halloween. So if you haven't made plans yet and you're looking for a quick turnaround, it sounds like you should head to South Carolina, to Lake Wateree, and check out everything they got there for Halloween.
Well, and I like that you talk about this, because like as we get older, you know, like I stopped trick-or-treating when I was like 11. And as I get older, I'm like, what can I do around Halloween? And I really like these like different things as you get older, these adult activities you can do, as well as we go into nature. It's like, what can we do? What fun can we have as adults that is respecting the nature around us and the fun that we can have in it? And that's something that I think we need to do more of when we go out to these places. Like, what more, you know, on our June trip, you know, we'll call it Flag Day. What are we doing for Flag Day, Mark?
100%. We got to figure out something to do on Flag Day. But anyways, we're just going to jump right into this interview with Cameron. So, yeah, let's just hop in.
You enjoy.
Alrighty, today we have got an awesome guest lined up. We have Cameron, who I believe is a park ranger at the state park in South Carolina, Lake Wateree, I believe. Is it Lake Wateree or Wateree? I was having trouble with it.
It's Wateree.
Wateree, sweet. Well, anyways, if you can just kind of introduce yourself, kind of what you do at the park there, and kind of just general things about you for our listeners so they get an idea who you are.
Okay. My name is Cameron. I'm actually one of the assistant rangers at Lake Wateree State Park. I have been there for over a year now. So in May of 2022, it'll be 2 years. I absolutely love my job itself. The park is, I want to say, probably a little slice of heaven over here. There's so many things to do, and it's just all around amazing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So how did you get into, or how did you get lined up with this park ranger job, I should say?
So actually, before I worked at Lake Wateree State Park, I actually worked at Carolina Adventure World. I was one of the ATV girls. I would check in like the ATVs, the side by sides, anything that would come in. But I actually heard about this job because my grandmother went to church with the head ranger, and he was telling her about like, we have an opening. And at first, it wasn't for the assistant ranger position. It was actually for a store clerk, and I got that job working in the tackle shop, and I kind of like worked my way up.
Oh,
So,
is it pretty easy to do that? I guess I'm assuming that it's through the South Carolina State Parks department or system,
yeah.
right? Is it easy to climb the ladder that way, I guess, or is it climbing a ladder, or is it jumping around, or
Yeah, no, there's not really no jumping around to it. I mean, it was kind of easier to like, I guess, climb that ladder. The way I got into it is, like I said, I started off like a store clerk, and then the assistant ranger position opened up because one of the other girls actually had to go back to college. So she goes to Clemson. So she was going to be essentially 3 hours away. And my boss came up and talked to me. He's like, hey, if you want this, it's yours. So I had to do that, and I've never done like anything like hard labor outside. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to get this job done.
Right on. So, you know, I've never actually been out east. I have a brother who lives in Georgia, but I've never been out east from Oregon here. So what is kind of like the park like? Is it kind of like hills? Is it, I know there's the lake that takes up most of it, but like what else other than the lake?
It's pretty flat. Over here, it's really, really hot. So it's very humid over here. It's not really, I wouldn't say muggy, but it's very humid, very hot. But I mean, some of the parts of the lake you go to, it's going to be more of like the hillside and stuff like that. But overall, it's majority flat.
Do you get the great colors in the fall?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. The leaves change colors. Everything around here changes colors. The sunset and the sunrise are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm jealous of, like, we get some leaves that change color, but like in general, we don't get like the massive amounts of like trees that like really will change a whole landscape in the fall because the different colors.
Yeah. When the sun sets over here, you'll get mixtures of colors like orange, purple, even, and like when it like reflects off of the sun like onto the water, it is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I bet. That's really true.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things they have you doing as a park ranger? I'm curious what all that is.
So I can do anything from like maintenance. I do like electrical problems. I do a lot of customer service, which I really like. I enjoy. With me being a local, I know a lot of people who come into the park, and it's always nice to see people and get to know them on those levels. I do sometimes when DNR comes in, we kind of work with them. If it's like something like obviously like working with that. I do quite a bit of everything. I'm like I said, like with this job, I'm doing something different every day. I'm never doing the same thing. We do patrol, we do trail pickup, stuff like that. I actually like when I got this job, I actually am now certified to work a chainsaw in the state. So that was actually really cool. So I was like, that's something I thought I would never like get to actually do, but now I do, and I love it.
Right? You probably realize like I got to be certified to do this. Like,
yeah, that's what I was saying. But yeah, I love my job. I really do.
I like that. When I was a park ranger out at Pompey's Pillar in Montana, where I'm from, and they I totally get what you mean. You're doing something different every day. You know, one day you're leading tours. The next you're digging a canoe. We actually had axes one day, and we're cutting out these canoes like Lewis and Clark did. Something to do because they need it done.
I will say it's never a dull moment. I'm never bored at my job. Like I'll have some days like it doesn't even feel like a job because I'm having so much fun.
That's the kind of job you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've noticed with the few park rangers that we've talked to that everyone seems to love the kind of customer service side
Yeah.
of it. And it's just working with people. So I'm kind of curious, like, what is it about that you enjoy so much?
Well, with me being myself, I'm like a people person. I love talking to people. I'm very, like, I wouldn't say, like, I'm very outgoing, is to say, but I love connecting people from like different backgrounds and stuff like that and get to know them on like a personal level, like outside of like doing everything else. Because you're outside, you're basically camping with like everyone there at the park, and you get to hear all these like stories about where they're from. And honestly, it's so cool to like see like everyone's backstory.
Do you
Yeah.
get a lot of like different people, like, because it's kind of in northern South Carolina there, right? So do
Yeah.
you get a lot of people not necessarily from South Carolina coming to the park?
Oh, yes. We have people come from, like, they'll be, like, traveling through, or they'll be just coming to this park specifically. I'd say the farthest person that I have been in, like, contact with, like, talking to them, is we had someone come from Australia, and they were, like, traveling, like, through, like, the parks, and they stopped at Lake Wateree, and it was so cool to, like, hear them, like, tell me, like, their story and, like, what all they're doing, and it's honestly, it's really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
What other parks, I guess, are around you that some of these people may be like coming from or going
Yeah.
to? Like, I guess, is it on like a trail of parks that people like hitting? Or I'm
Um,
curious.
the
I've never
biggest
been either.
Yeah. The biggest thing that people do at our park is, so there's 47 state parks in South Carolina, and we have this, like, little, I'm not sure if they have them in, like, other states. There's, like, a little booklet you can do that has all the parks listed in it, and you'll go, like, to park, and you'll get a stamp, and you'll put it in the book. So and if you complete, like, all of it, it's called the Ultimate Outsider. So you can, get all the stamps from each of the parks, and it's, like, a really fun thing to do. I've had people complete it like in one summer, and I've had other people complete it in like 3 years.
Okay.
But some of the parks that are kind of close to us is going to be Chester State Park, that's in Chester, South Carolina. That's probably about maybe 35 minutes away. And we do have Congaree National Park up in near Columbia. I say the closest one is Chester, and the other ones are probably maybe like an hour or an hour and a half away.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Congaree, that's one of the newer ones, right? I believe they just
No, sir.
yeah, yeah, they I want to check it out. I mean, I want to know all the national parks. That's kind of our
Yeah,
goal here. We
I
got to
got you.
review them all.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good goal to have.
I guess the real question is, have you gotten filled up your state park passbook with all the stamps?
I not. Actually, I've only been to two other state parks in South Carolina before I got this job. I've been to Oconee State Park, which is up there near Salem, and then I have went to Chester State Park as well. But because like I said, like it's like this has been so new to me, and I just don't really have like a lot of free time because of my job and then school and then other jobs I have. But it's definitely on the bucket list to complete all that.
Yeah,
Nice.
get the book yourself, the passport
Yeah.
book. Cool.
Nice. So you're going to school as well. Are you going for like something similar to being a park ranger, like
Yeah.
ecology or maybe something like that?
Yeah. What's interesting, yeah, I go to University of South Carolina. I'm a senior there. And I'm majoring in tourism management, and I'm trying to do a double major as well with like environmental science.
Okay.
But I'm really thinking about getting my master's at USC so I can continue to do my job at like in the park system itself. But yeah, I have had to switch my major, I think 2 times, because I've been like kind of like indecisive like what I want to do. But then when I got this job, I completely changed up, and I love it. I don't want to change it.
Oh, I feel that. I changed my major in college too. And I
This
love what I do now, but
Yeah.
it makes the journey a little long, but it's worth it in the end.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
Mark. Yeah, you're an interesting character in the schools. I think you were an engineer at one point, and then you're a businessman, and then you were now you're an athletic. Now he's a certified athletic trainer.
I
So,
never
Hey.
dabbled in the business, but
oh,
Yeah. But actually, my first like major, I was a sports management major. I wanted to do like you said, like athletic training, but like become a coach. But yeah, that was the first thing I entailed.
well, that's fun.
nice. As long as you find what you enjoy, that's the most important thing. So the lake there is probably the big attraction for the park. Is it mostly people going on with like maybe they're taking their boats, or is it more for fishing, canoeing? Like what seems to be everyone's favorite activity to do on the lake?
Honestly, I'd say probably a mixture of all three. I have people come in just to like take their boats out and just have a good time on the boat. I have a lot of fishermen that come in because this is primarily like a really good fishing lake. And the canoes and the kayaks, those are all around the park as well. So it's like a really good mixture of all three.
Oh, cool. Is there places that I'm a kayaker, canoeer myself. That's like kind of my passion. Is there any like just like places in the lake like that's it? That's the only place these guys can go. It's too small for a boat. You go up to something cool.
I would say it depends on what level the water is at. But basically, like the boats and the kayaks, they can go anywhere they wanted to on the lake. Usually, like people go down in the coves because those are a lot more shallower. But sometimes coves will tend to be shorter than others. But yeah, people like can travel all over the lake if they wanted to. Like, there's really nothing stopping you.
And it's a pretty big lake, right?
Yeah, it is 19.3 miles long.
Dang.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a pretty big lake.
Yeah.
So what type of jurisdiction do you have on that? Like, are you cover all 19 miles? Is that part of you like your maintenance and park ranging and all the stuff you have to do?
Not really, no. So the state park itself is only a couple miles wide. But we have so the thing is about Lake Wateree is it sits in like two different counties. So that's how big it is. So half of it is on the Camden side, where like Kershaw County is in Fairfield, and the other side is like Great Falls, Lancaster area. So if we were to cover all that, that would take a while. But no, we only cover at least probably like 2 or 3 miles of it, and like on the park itself.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So that sounds fun. I saw that you guys had a hiking trail. Like it was a mile hiking trail. Is it difficult by any means, or?
Oh no. So my hiking trail is 2.3 miles long. That's in and out. There are 2 loops inside of the hiking trail itself, and it'll show you like really cool viewing areas of the lake. There's like beach access where like the sand area is for people who can go swimming and do fishing and stuff like that. But like I would say like the hiking trail, it's really pretty. You just gotta watch out because for some reason the tree roots they like to grow above ground instead of below. So, so that's really it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's good. Only a couple sprained ankles here and there from hitting the tree roots.
Yeah.
Are you guys close to the Appalachians? Like the Appalachian Trail and all that?
No, not really.
I was curious how close that is because the East Coast is so much more dense and close together than out here in the West. Everything is so much more spread out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mark
doesn't know the East Coast layout. You don't know where the mountains lie.
Not at all. The farthest east I've ever been is Indiana. So
most of the mountains over here, they're in North Carolina and Tennessee.
Okay.
So yeah, they're good ways from us.
Because there's the Appalachian Trail that runs like the whole length. And so I wasn't sure if it's like all considered Appalachian Mountains or if it like dives into like, I don't know, forest area that's not necessarily mountainous.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, most of all the mountains they're in North Carolina and Tennessee. So you have like the Rocky Mountains are they kind of like run together between Tennessee and North Carolina. But yeah, they're probably, I want to say probably 2 or 3 hours from us or from me itself. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
How far are you from the coast? I was, because you're kind of in the middle of the state.
Yeah, I am. Lake Wateree is between Charlotte and Columbia, but I'm probably 2.5 hours from like Myrtle Beach or like Charleston, which I was coming to from earlier. Yeah, it was like 2.5 hours, but with the traffic, I would say 3.
Okay.
Yeah, the traffic's insane.
Yeah, and Myrtle Beach over there is kind of that's a popular place for a lot of tourists too. So
Yes.
I'm
We
sure
also
you
have the Myrtle Beach State Park is over there as well, and I haven't been in it yet, but from what I've heard, it's absolutely gorgeous.
is it.
Yeah.
That's cool. In Montana, our state parks they were funded really well, and then they got like defunded really bad, so they never had employees, but like
Hmm.
they had nice parks. And now you kind of go to some parks, they have the kiosk booth that's open, and then you go to other ones and it hasn't been open for years, and that's
Yeah.
kind of yeah. So I mean, Montana's fun. Come out and check out the state parks if you have a chance, but it's kind of one of those ones too where you're just like, yeah, I wish it was a little bit better, but we also don't have the people to,
Yeah.
where
I
it's
feel
like,
like the farthest I've been like over like near y'all was probably like Colorado and like Wyoming.
oh
Because
yeah,
I was over there for a national softball tournament. I was there for like 2 weeks.
oh
So,
in
yeah.
Steamboat, huh?
Huh?
Was it in Steamboat?
I think so, yeah.
That's a big. I mean, they're big for that baseball.
Yeah.
Soccer. Yeah.
Yeah, the plane ride was terrible, but I mean, the air is a lot thinner over there. Like I had to get used to it. It was a Lord, it took me a second to get used to it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
believe.
Colorado.
Yeah.
But it's pretty. I mean, Colorado's
Oh my
pretty.
gosh, yes. Like my favorite part over there was like when we were playing, literally we had the perfect view of the mountains in the background. So I'm like, and it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous.
I could imagine. Yeah, I never actually played baseball in Colorado. I played Montana, and I sort of know your mountain backdrop that you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was unmatched.
Yeah, that's cool. Um, I guess when it comes to fishing, I'm a big fisher as well.
Okay.
I was curious, what is it freshwater? I assume it's
Yeah.
freshwater. What kind of fish are being caught out of there?
Majority, the best fish, in my opinion, to catch on Lake Wateree is going to be the black or white crappie, because
Okay.
I'm a really big fisherman as well. But we have people come in for bass tournaments, the big mouth bass. We have the smallmouth bass too. There we have some catfish as well, flatheads, blue cats. We have a lot of bluegills, sunfish, and any type of brim for like cut bait and anything. Um, but I'd say the best fish that I've had a lot of people tell me is going to be some of the big mouth bass in this lake. I've had people pull them out probably 3 or 4 pounds at least. There's some huge bass over here.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
My cousin's a big bass fisher. I'm not. I'm a trout guy, but
Okay.
but he loves it. He loves fishing them to fight and getting them to do it. The popping the frogs and all that fun stuff. So I guess I got to tell him to go down there.
Yeah. I caught my first trout last year in November when I was in Oconee State Park
Okay.
for like a weekend. And I will say, like, it's kind of interesting because like over the water up there, it's so clear you can actually see them, but it's also kind of frustrating as well. It's like they won't take the bait and they're like, yeah. So I mean, it was kind of cool to like see that aspect of it.
Oh, it's the worst because you're like, come on,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
You want the blue one, not the red one. Okay.
Yep.
It's crazy though. You find those colors when you're fishing, and they'll just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans, I guess, with your degree once you graduate, like to move on parks? Like, is there a goal?
There's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
I have been talking to some of my professors at USC, and they have like some connections like out west and in Alaska. That's actually my ultimate goal. Is I want to go to look for an internship over in Alaska and try to get a park job over there.
Do it. That's all I have to say is do it.
Yeah.
One of the rangers we interviewed that I worked with, his name was Alexander. He did that. He did the part-time thing because apparently working in he works in the federal government level of like, however the GSA codes and all that work. But he was doing that for a while. It was like 5 summers of part-time, but he really enjoyed it. Really loved it. Came out to Montana because he was from Missouri, in the Illinois area, and then he worked his way coming over to Montana, Wyoming, and he loved it. But working with BLM specifically, and then moved over to now he got a full-time job working in the Forest Service in the Indiana Hoosier National Forest. But I say, I mean, if you're young enough, do it to just get the experience, have the fun, go do all these parks. That's what the best park rangers I've met. I mean, but then you meet the ones like Sunny, who she's never left the park that she's worked at, and she loves it. But the
Yeah.
ones that are just like, I've been here for 6 months. The next 6 months I was here, there. You just hear those stories. You're like, man, it just sounds so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my ultimate goal. Either that or like go out somewhere, like you said, like out west. But for me, since this is actually like my first job in the park system, I'm just kind of gonna do like the part-time thing and like not really like bounce around, but get the experience as I go.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I totally understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, totally. um Within the park itself, have you like I guess the lake more so?
Mhm.
Because like out here, the water levels have been very low and probably getting even lower. I was curious if you're seeing similar like decreasing water levels year from year out east at all or not.
Um, no, I wouldn't say not really. Our park, on the lake itself, it sits at 97.3. But the dams over here, we have two dams, one on the north end and then one on the south end that are controlled by Duke Energy. So throughout the year, they'll raise it and they'll lower it due to whatever they're working on over at the dam. Because this lake was actually built by Duke Power for the hydroelectric plants. So they control like lake levels and stuff like that. So they'll lower it when it like gets close to like winter time and everything, and then in springtime they'll raise it back up.
Oh, cool. So
Yeah,
it's managed pretty well.
yeah, it's been doing really well over here. They do lower it if it's about to like rain a lot because this lake takes in a lot of water.
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
is there other rivers and whatnot coming into it?
yeah, we
Yeah.
have the top river that hooks into it, and that's where we get majority of all the water that comes from.
Yeah, I was noticing because I've been noticing in Montana, we had a really hot summer
Hmm.
with a winter where we didn't get a lot of snow.
Hmm.
And so like there's places where I'm going out on the rivers out here where they have like boat ramps and stuff for people to get their rafts or whatever off the river. And like it's dried up completely. Like
Yeah,
they closed the boat ramp because they're like, we can't like we don't want you driving your car on the riverbed because it's dangerous
mhm.
for you. We don't want, we just don't
Yeah,
want that. And yeah, like go down to the next ramp, which is
yeah,
another 15 miles down the road, 8-hour float.
yeah. When Duke Energy like lowers the lake levels and everything, they'll probably lower it probably 5 or 6 feet, so it will drop from 97 all the way down to 92 and 93. So the water does get really low at the park when they do that. We have a causeway that you have to cross over to get into the park itself, and when they lower the water, you can see the whole bottom of like the causeway area.
Wow.
And I don't know if you've ever heard about like tire fishing or anything, but that's kind of big over here.
What is
uh,
it?
so yeah, so with tire fishing is you have an actual tire, you'll cut out like probably a good sized rectangle and then you'll like put it like back into like the bottom of the bank, and that's where catfish will come in and they'll lay in the tire. So then you pull it up and you'll have it's probably 80-pound catfish or something that's sitting in the bottom of this tire. We have a
Really?
lot of, yeah, we have a lot of those that are at the bottom, and we've been trying to get them out, but it's very hard to get them out on the causeway because the bottom of it is like soft, thick mud, and like when you step in it, you're like in waist deep of mud.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's kind of hard to get that out, but we've been trying.
We went fishing. I got a story for you guys. We
Okay.
went fishing just a month or two ago, and my
Mhm.
cousin talked same kind of mud, right? So we're on the boat and we're driving, and his dad's is me, his dad, and him, and their dog, and he's driving the boat real fast, and Jared has some stuff on the boat. Well, it explodes all over the boat, and his stuff's everywhere, and he's picking it up, all mad. Well, he gets mad because they parked the boat on shore because they're letting the dog off to go to the bathroom. They get off, they're in that kind of mud, and he just falls straight down into it,
Yep.
rips his toenail off on like a stick or
Oh my
something.
gosh.
And he's sitting there like trying to get out of this mud, but each step just going down and
Yep.
down, getting stuck in the dirt in his toe, and he's crying, and you're just like, dude, I'm so sorry, my man. Like,
Oh my gosh.
oh, it gets me every
Yeah.
time.
I kind of have like the same experience because we were actually on the water a couple years ago for 4th of July, and we stopped at Johnny's Island, which is also in the lake. We have a lot of islands as well, and for some reason, like it was like a big mud patch, and I didn't think anything of it. So I went to go step off the front of my dad's Tahoe speedboat, and I fell straight through. I was like probably chest deep in like mud, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't get out. So I had to like physically pull myself like up on the boat like to get out of it. It was crazy.
It probably took a while because you're probably like, okay, gotta like get like quicksand almost.
Yeah, I mean, I was struggling a little bit, but I eventually got out like 20 minutes later.
Oh gosh,
It was
that's not fun.
Yeah,
No,
that doesn't sound fun at all. Have you ever done that tire fishing?
I have not. I've had some friends do it, but I've just never like been intrigued by like doing it. To be honest, I'd just rather have a pole in my hand and go fishing.
I feel you there.
Yeah.
Catfish don't do it for me either. Like
No.
there's something about fish that eat off the bottom.
Yeah, they will. I mean, I've had a lot of friends. They'll put anything on the hook, and somehow they'll end up catching a catfish. Because whatever's on the bottom of that lake, if it sinks, they're gonna eat it.
Well, and it's like people will put stinky stuff to fish for catfish.
Oh yeah,
like, on their hooks and baits, and you're just like, oh, like I want to have fun fishing. I don't want to be like, okay, yeah, this dog poop, they're going to eat it, and you're like, I mean, I'm just that's what it smells like sometimes. It's probably not it.
Yeah.
But
we actually sell some of that in the tackle shop inside of the state park. We have two different kinds of. It's actually called stinky bait for the catfish. But yeah, we'll have all kinds of fishermen come in. They'll make up like their own combos to go fishing with. I've had like I would say the craziest combo that I've had a fisherman buy. We sell frozen chicken livers and frozen shad and like stuff like that. He bought the frozen chicken livers, and then he also bought frozen shrimp. And he put that combo together, and he came back into the park like probably like 4 hours later, and he was showing us pictures of like these huge catfish that he's like caught. And I'm like, you literally can fish like with anything, and you're gonna catch a catfish with it. Literally.
Do people noodle there?
Not that I know of. No.
Oh, that's the other one that I think is crazy because it's like you said the tire fishing, which makes sense because they're going into those dens, right? Which literally those guys are sticking their arms in, dude. Like, I'm gonna pull this thing out of my arm. Like, why?
I wouldn't say people do that in the park necessarily, but I do have some other friends of mine. They do it up near the dams because we have all kinds of fish that are in this lake. I have people that go bow fishing. They go carp fishing, all that kind of fun stuff, and they have pulled out some huge fish. I say the biggest gar that I've seen, probably 2 feet, something like that. Oh yeah, they're huge over here.
They're crazy. You know, Mark, do you know what it's alligator gar is what they're called? Yeah. They're those ones with the really long nose with all the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I know, but I mean, yeah, if it resembles an alligator, it's going to be a little questionable. So
yeah.
In the name.
I would say they're not really a nuisance over here, but they're not really good to be in contact with.
Why do you say that?
Yeah. Huh?
Why do you say that?
Because I will say okay, this is another story for you. It's kind of funny. I had a buddy of mine one time. He was bow fishing up with all of his friends up near the north part of the dam. And I think they hit like a sand bed. The lake was just lower and they didn't see it. And he fell in the water off the boat, and he like I said, he fell in it, and he landed on something that he didn't know what it was. And when he got back in the boat, he figured out he landed on a gar, and he had a tooth stuck in the side of his pinky, and he couldn't get it out, and his skin like grew over like the tooth itself. He got it out like probably 4 months later, and the tooth like was probably about 3 inches big, or not 3. It was huge. Whoa. I feel so bad for him. But he's actually one of my coworkers. He pulled it out like while we were at work, and I was like, "That is the nastiest thing I have ever seen in my life," because it was really gross.
You make a necklace or something out of it? That's what I would do. Just like a bracelet or something.
Yeah, I think he kept it. But I will say, Ryder, the guy I'm talking about, he's my coworker. He's a different character. He's something.
He's got to have a tooth on it.
Yeah.
That's Matt Buddy for us, our good friend. He's our something else.
Yeah, I will say Ryder is the youngest assistant ranger that we have, and he's actually been there the longest.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was there a few months before I was, and he's 17. He doesn't turn 18 until next year, but yeah.
Oh wow.
I would say he knows probably as much about this lake as I do. He's
Oh,
not a local, but he knows his in and out of it.
oh, really?
Yeah.
I would think he's a local based on just kind of all the.
Oh yeah, he's out on this lake every weekend. He lives in Lugoff, but that's probably about maybe 15, 20 minutes away. So yeah, he's out here a lot.
Did you grow up near the lake, or are you kind of from a different area out there?
Oh no, I grew up on the lake. I've been a local for 20 years. But yeah, I was born in the Columbia area, and I spent like first grade and second grade over in Great Falls, and then we moved over here, and I've been here ever since.
Okay, so
yeah,
you're that's kind of your home then there.
Oh yeah,
That's cool. That's fun, especially working at places like that. I think near home, that's something. I think that's something for me when I got, because my working at the BLM for Palm Bay's Pillar as a ranger was an internship, and it was an internship. It was a cultural internship as for Native American students. We were able to apply and do it, and living 30 miles away, Billings, where I was from. The pillar is out in the middle of nowhere, 30 miles. There it is, a big rock sticking up off the river. And I get it, because you get that, like, wow, this is a 20-minute drive away from my house, and I've been like not thinking about it or talking about it and the history, and then you talk the history, and like you look back 1,000 years of what the history was then, and 100 years, 50 years, and just the different things and how you do that, and like, wow, like, this is the town of Billings, like where I'm from, has always been a crossroads. It's been a trading post. It's been a place for hunting bison, and just over the hundreds of years, and especially as America's moved west, the differences in that and what's changed, but how it's also kind of stayed the same. And how these places, like these towns, these cities, they were cities once before, and it's just how it all interacts with each other. I love that, where it's like, we really haven't evolved as much as we think we have sometimes, because it's like we're still trading, we're still complaining, like all their basic like arguments and upset, like, oh, we're not happy about our healthcare, oh, we're not happy about this, oh, we're not happy about that. And it's like those are the same problems they've had since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
We just like to think we're better.
But yeah, for sure. We got like an official theme to the podcast here of searching for Bigfoot. And so the question becomes, are there many Bigfoot sightings out near Lake Wateree?
I have never had one.
Have you heard of any?
I have not, actually. I think I've had, because this is like this has been a while ago, I had someone ask me that same question, and then I told him, I'll tell y'all the same thing. I highly doubt that he's over in the East Coast. I will say that, because with this lake, I'd say there's so many people that live on it, and it's so like populated, like on the weekends and during the summer. If he were to be over here, he would definitely be found by now.
Oh, fair. That's very fair.
I get it. I believe it. Mark has actually seen Bigfoot when he was hunting in Oregon one time.
Really?
Yeah, I have.
I haven't, but it's a fun, him being from Oregon. I went to school at Oregon State with him. So that Northwest connection, Montana, people talk about it, especially down in the Redwoods. If you ever get a chance to go down to Redwoods National Park, do it. And people love Bigfoot down there.
Okay, I'll definitely hold you up to that one.
Thank you, Wanderers, for checking us out. Make sure that you are hitting that like button, that subscribe button, leaving us a review on the iTunes, on the Spotify's, or wherever that you are checking out this podcast today. We really appreciate it. Any kind of feedback, we love it. Make sure to check out the YouTube so you can see our beautiful faces instead of just listening to those beautiful voices. But hit the like and subscribe button there too to see all of the fun Wandering Ways stuff.
Yeah, on the YouTube too. Make sure to check out those videos like Mark's amazing 30-day road trip where he lived out of the back of a Jeep. And if you want to commemorate it, go ahead and pick yourself up that Wandering Ways swag in the link tree bio, click the swag button. If you're just on YouTube or Google or some sort of thing, go teespring.com/wanderingways. You'll find us. You'll find socks. You'll find shirts. You'll find whatever you want to put our logo on, and you can have it for sure.
And maybe you only like one of the Wandering Ways team members here, and you want to check out maybe just me personally, because obviously I might be the better one. Check me out, Reverend Marcus, on the Instagram, on the Twitter. I got some fun stuff there.
Hey, and you might be into Jeeps. You could check out my Jeep, the Rougarou. You might be into adventures. Check out Zach of Wandering Ways. Who knows? You can find it all with us at Wandering Ways, the nature podcast.
Yeah, let's keep wandering on.
I will say, I will give like advice to like anybody who wants to do like be in the park system and like work their way up like I did. I would say go for it. Because before I like even like just thought about doing this job, like I said, I've actually played college softball for 2 years. I played softball growing up my entire life, and I always thought that I would do something within that. But it's so crazy to think about like a change of events, like just like that, of me getting like, oh, I thought it was gonna be like a summer temp job, to like turning into like a whole new career for myself and like for the future. But yeah, it's like I said, it's crazy to think about how that's changed so quickly. But like I said, I'll give anybody advice who wants to be in the park service or like work in any park system, whether it be like state parks or like national parks. I would just say go for it, because honestly, like I wouldn't want another job. Like, this is like the best job.
That's awesome. Is there like, what was it that really got you with it? Because you started out as just was it the general store clerk there, or so what was the thing that just made it click for you?
I will say, I'll go off like what I said earlier. I'm a very big like people person. I love talking to people and like getting to know them on like a different level. It would like, for me, the thing that really got me is to like, one day I just had like this thought. I was like, this doesn't even feel like a job. Like I love it so much. I get to interact with people all over the country, even like out of the country too. It's just like I said, it's just really cool to like hear like their backstories and stuff like that. And like being outside, like, I cannot like stay inside all day. I love being outside and the outdoors itself. So with like anything that involves that, I'm immediately drawn to it, and it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that is cool. I get that feeling, and I applaud you for continually going after it and chasing that dream, because I think those are the people who are truly happy in life, are the ones that really chase their dreams. Like, I love doing this. I don't care if I'm not the richest person or this person or that person. I'm a happy person.
Yeah.
It's really finding your happiness and what makes you want to get up and go to work. And because like you said, it's not even like you're doing your job some days. So you're like, I'll get there at 7. Sure. I get to do what today? I get it. I love it.
I think, like I said, like going off earlier, like what really got me into this job is like I found a lot of happiness and a lot of love like when I played softball with like teammates and stuff like that. So kind of like transferring that from softball to my job, it's like we're working like as a team. Like it doesn't even feel like a team. It feels like more like a family, honestly. And like I always consider like my teammates or like coaches and anything like my family. So it's really good to like transfer that into my job, because I mean, I'm working with these people every single day, and like honestly, I wouldn't want to work with anybody else.
Well, that's good. That's fun. I mean, a good crew makes a good park, I think. And you can tell that with some of the parks. Because there's some parks you go to and you can tell the employees aren't vibing with one another.
Yeah, what's really interesting is I actually met my best friend now. She used to work there, but she had to start back school. But yeah, me and her are like really, really close now. Me and Ryder are like really, really good buddies. But yeah, I'm really good friends with like everybody. Like it's really cool.
That's cool. That's awesome. That's what you got to ask for.
Yeah, that is. Hey, so we've got a recurring kind of thing on the podcast that we're going to go kind of with you. We like to, about kind of somewhere in the middle of the episode, we like to share videos or pictures of what we like to call as cool shit in nature. So we're gonna share. I'm gonna show you. I end up picking them all out usually. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show off our cool shit in nature today. So just a second. And I thought this guy was just kind of cool. He's a little otter, kind of juggling a rock.
Yeah, that's really cute.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I
gosh.
thought so. It's just, I mean, river otters are cool in general. Otters are cool,
Mhm.
whether it's sea or river. And this guy is, I don't know, maybe getting his workout in or just playing. We aren't
You
sure.
know, I can't tell either because he's just batting the little pebble across like his arms like back and almost like practice. Like he's practicing like
Yeah.
a slam or I don't know.
Yeah.
I love it. I love otters. They're my favorite animal.
Yeah, we have some on Wateree, and they're really, really cute.
Do you really?
Yeah, we have beavers as well. We have all kinds of animals that live on this lake. My favorite by far is the bald eagles. We have 4. We have 3 females and 1 really, really large male. Like,
Oh, really?
I would say like his like wingspan is insane. He's huge.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, well, he actually has a nest in the cove that I live in. It's a couple trees down and a really big oak tree. His nest is huge, but he's probably one of the biggest birds I've ever seen.
Oh, that's cool. It's probably generational, that nest, right? Because I believe
Oh yeah,
they pass it down and they
hmm
get those and they're cool.
yeah.
They're
The
Yeah,
cool.
really
some
cool
of
thing
the
is
bald
like they
eagles.
have like a little setting point right outside of my house, and like, we have a really big tree in our front yard. And he goes up there and he sits and like perches and like watches like all everything. I've even seen him going fishing like right in front of my house, right next to my pier, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
really, really cool.
Yeah, that would
Like,
be
if you
really
want
cool.
to check out my Facebook page, I think I sent Matt a friend or Zach a friend
Yes.
request, and I've actually posted pictures of him like right in my front yard, and you'll see how big he is.
Dang,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
bald eagles are really cool. They're a
Mhm.
cool bird.
Yeah, them and golden eagles. I mean, I like golden eagles too because they're just as cool. They just don't get the love because
Yeah.
America has the bald eagle, but like the
Yeah.
golden eagle too. I mean, they're just as big and I love them. I was actually hunting one time last year, and
Mhm.
we were deer hunting, and my uncle, he's actually the chairman of the Little Shell tribe, so it's
Mhm.
kind of really cool experience to have with him. But we're just driving, and all of a sudden we see this bald eagle flying, and he goes and lands on a fence, and right on the fence is a golden eagle, and they both sat on these posts, and we
Oh my
stopped.
god.
We was driving this dirt road. We stopped and we just like looked at them, probably for like 10 minutes. Like we just sat there
Yeah.
quiet and just watching them, and then right as we started drove away, they both took off at the same time and flew away. It was like, oh my god, that was just like,
Yeah. That's a
what was
really
that?
cool experience. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, what was that?
I love it. I love big birds. I don't like birds, but I like big birds, like
Yeah.
the apex predator birds.
Yeah. I got you. Got you.
Do you see the river otters much when you're out there working?
I have not seen them at the park itself, but when I'm like on my boat or if like we're traveling like on open and lake on one of my buddies' boats, we'll see them like back in like a cove or anything like that, and just like swimming around and like playing.
That's what I love. I love the way they play with each other.
Yeah, it's actually really cute.
It really is because
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah.
like, and they don't care. Like
No.
they like people, other things going on. They almost like, screw you. Like I'm gonna
Yeah,
go.
I'm gonna do me. Yeah.
And they're like weirdly social,
Yeah.
which is what's fascinating is to see their social interactions amongst each other. And
Mhm.
then, I mean, I always love a good video of like the otters bullying something else, like whether it's like an alligator or like something big. When the
Yeah.
otters team up and bully, that's always I always get a hoot of that.
But then you get like 12 of them chasing a butterfly through their like.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them. They're great. They're good little creatures, especially sea otters. There was one at the Portland Zoo. Eddie, I think was his name.
Mhm.
He liked to clean himself really well. So he would lay on his back and like do these circles, and he'd just clean himself. Like loved it. It was a weird.
I think that same sea otter at that zoo was known for also playing with himself. So
He was interesting. Yeah, but he lived like 15 years.
yeah, he was an old guy.
Yeah.
I want to give you kind of the opportunity to maybe do an elevator pitch sell of Lake Wateree State Park there. Wateree. Did I say Wateree again? I'm going to screw that up probably at least once more. But Lake Wateree State Park, if you were to give it the elevator pitch for why someone should come check it out, what would it be?
Okay, so for Lake Wateree State Park, we have 2 campgrounds that are inside the park itself with over 100 campsites. We have one of the campgrounds is the Riverside Campground. It's going to be sites 1 through 72. Those are they're all 30 amp sites, but you have a few that are 50 amp that offer that full hookup service. And we have water and electric in that campground, have a dump station for that as well. For our Taylor Creek Campground, everything in there is a 50 amp that offers the full hookup service. And we actually just got done. That campground is actually really new. We just got done building it. The bathhouse is completely brand new. I would say for the best thing to do inside of Lake Wateree State Park is either going to do the nature trail because it's really, really pretty, or like going inside the tackle shop, having a drink and talking to Miss Wendy, who is our store manager. Sweetest little lady you'll ever meet, I swear. She'll tell you all these kind of stories because she's been there actually longer than I have. But yeah, she is amazing. You can actually rent fishing poles inside of the tackle shop through DNR itself. You can go fishing, and it's actually really fun to see all like the little kids like going fishing and everything. You can actually fish on the causeway because that water sits probably 3-4 feet deep. You'll catch anything from crappie when it's kind of colder, bluegills, sunfish, any kind of brim for like cut bait or anything like that. I would say we also have a playground for little kids too. But honestly, like when you're in Lake Wateree, you'll never know what you're going to see. But like animal wise and everything, you'll never know like the people you're going to meet. And I mean, it's really like a prime good example for like Southern hospitality. It's amazing.
Oh, cool. Can you rent boats, like little rowboats or anything like that, or no?
Not at Lake Wateree, but you can do that at Lake Wateree Marina.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
So probably a private company while you guys are the state park. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right on. Is there a favorite time of the year that you enjoy? Like, do you like it more spring, fall, winter, or summer?
I would say, well, all of my fishermen would say springtime, but I would say summertime because that's usually our biggest crowds. But yeah, summertime is like you're doing stuff 24/7, and like it's just so many people that come into the park. You can have like a fishing tournament one day, and then you could have like a 4th of July celebration the next, and then you'll have like churches or like people come in for like birthday parties and stuff like that. Is like you're always talking to someone different. So that's why I kind of like leaning towards like summer is like my best time of the year.
So with that being said too, I guess it sounds like you guys get busy. Would you recommend reserving those camping spots ahead of time or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you come in like weeks before your reservation, like it's going to be booked. Yeah. We have people like reserved 13 months in advance for the camp. Oh yeah, we stay busy pretty much year round. Most of my campers will probably tell you their favorite time of the year is going to be like summer or like in the fall when our Halloween event is, because our Halloween event is really, really big. We're completely booked out. Like all of our campsites are booked. We have people come in like just to like park and like do trick or treating like within the state park itself. I mean, it's a really big event.
So what goes on at the event? I'm curious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a church that is across the bridge from us. They do hay rides within the park, and we have like a little competition through all of the campgrounds, like all the campsites of like the best like decorated campsite. I've had campers go full like all out for this. I think we didn't get to have it last year due to COVID, but I didn't even work there, and I would go there every Halloween because it's really fun. I've had some campers make full-on haunted houses at their campsite. I had like last year, I had someone decorate their campsite as like a full-on like rock and roll concert, like stage and all. Like they had skeletons like playing guitars, playing the drums, everything. It's insane. But ultimately, we do trick or treating. We have games. We have the hayride. Most of our employees dress up, but unfortunately, I can't dress up, or like any of the rangers, they can't dress up as well. But it's a really fun time. Like it's a lot of fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
Is the lake? I'm assuming where you guys are at it doesn't freeze over in the winter, right? So do people boat and stuff in the winter, or is it just?
If you do not mind the cold, you are full for it. You can have at it. But I would say the only people that like really go out on the boats in the wintertime is the fishermen. But yeah, like I said, I personally will not get on a boat when it's like 30 degrees out because I will freeze. But no, it doesn't really freeze over. The last time we got snow was back in like 2012 or like 2013. But we'll get like iced over some mornings, but it never snows.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm curious. I come from a place where, about this time of year, you're like getting the last time putting the boat on the water because the lakes
Yeah.
get froze over.
Yeah, we've never had this lake freeze over.
Oh, that's
Ever.
cool.
Yeah.
No.
It's like summer over here year round, except for like December and January. Then it's like you're back to summer. But yeah,
Right.
yeah, it stays hot.
I bet it sounds like it.
When your
Sounds
humidity is pretty crazy down there. I guess, how are the mosquitoes? That's
Oh Lord, they never go away. Never. Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel bad for the people who like consider like having like sweet blood or something like that. They'll get bit like 24/7.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. I get bit all the time. I get just eaten alive.
Yeah, well, that's part of going outside. Just imagine 50 years ago before bug spray. Like, it
Oh,
could
I
have been
feel
a
so
lot
bad for
worse.
those people. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's that Coulter from Lewis and Clark, John Coulter. He goes back after the Lewis and Clark journey, after they get back to Fort Mandan. He actually heads back out into Montana and finds Yellowstone. Like, I mean, it's already there. You didn't find it. But he came back to Mandan like months later. He was covered in bug bites and mud, and they're like, "Who is this like crazy guy that just came back?" Like, it's a good book about his life. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, if you're definitely gonna come out here, I would coat in like bug spray. I would like head to toe.
Yeah.
Because you could just be like sitting in like a lawn chair and you'll get like attacked by mosquitoes.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Those dang things. Well, anyways, I got to be that guy. I'm always that guy at this point in the podcast. We are getting to the end. And so at the end of all of our episodes, we have what's called the final words. And we're going to let you go first since you are the guest, and you can literally say anything you want in the final words. If you have a poem written, you can say your poem. If you have PSA, it can literally be anything you want, but the floor is yours.
Oh my gosh, I feel so honored. I would say for piece of advice for anyone, I kind of said this earlier, if you want to get in the park system, I'd say go for it. Honestly, I don't think there's another job out there that doesn't even feel like a job like this one. It is, I would the whole world, I would say this is the best job I've ever had. I wouldn't want to work anywhere else. That's my piece of advice.
Love it. I love it. Final word, Zach.
Yeah, no, I want to stick right along with you, Cameron. I think find that job that makes you happy. For Mark, it's working in sports. I hope it is. Because if it wasn't, we'd have more time to go out in nature. No, I'm just kidding. But for me, I love helping my community, my native community, and working with them, as well as talking about nature with you guys. I'm super excited for all the trips we have planned coming up, as well as the ones where we get to talk about and share with you guys. I love it. I love that you're doing something that Cameron, that you're doing something you love, because I think more people just need to find that. And we get stuck up in what the world we think the world wants us to do. Really just do what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, as long as you're happy, it's all that matters.
Oh, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Reverend's final words of wisdom. I just want to first say thank you so much, Cameron, for coming on today. It was an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. And I had a blast. I always I love talking to park rangers. It's kind of like my thing, whether I go to the biggest park in the world or the smallest park in the world. I seem to always find the park rangers and talk because I think they are wonderful people, super interesting people. And you're right up there in that conversation of awesome park rangers, Cameron. So thank you so much for coming on today. Everybody go check out Lake Wateree in South Carolina. Check out South Carolina as well. I know most of our viewers are probably Pacific Northwest, but that doesn't mean we can't make special trips out east to see all the cool things.
Oh yeah, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I recommend it too, and I haven't even been out there. But again, thank you so much. It was a real honor. Had a blast talking today. Can't say thank you enough for being on. But with that being said, just say peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.